I'm thinking I just
make this serious if I shut the door.
Thank you.
All right, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to introducing Faculty 180. I'm really happy that so many of you showed up on Friday afternoon. That's terrific.
We're happy.
Are you? Well, there are Fritos.
You're now my favorite person.
Wait, there are Fritos. It's the greatest thing in the world.
I heard there was bourbon.
All right.
Answer the
All right.
question, is there bourbon?
Wait till you're done with the slides.
Have my interest, have my attention or something.
Yeah. All right. So we're here to talk about a new software system, Faculty 180. And one of the things we need to get out there is that Faculty 180 is not Epsilon. This is something that newer faculty will not remember. Older faculty.
There's three of us in here that might actually remember.
I remember.
Three of us.
The people who remember are so scarred by Epsilon that I think it is important.
Yes,
to
it
address.
is. Yes.
That's why we're here. Nightmare.
Right. So Epsilon was the system that we put a lot of our personnel stuff on, and it just basically went out of business one day and told us we had 24 hours to get everything off. And this included tenure and promotion stuff. So we feel much more confident in Interfolio, which is used by over 200 colleges and universities across the country. I'm not going to link this, but what you find if you click the link is it's used by Dartmouth and Bryn Mawr and University of Florida. It's just everyone. So we feel fairly comfortable. They're not going to call us up and say, hey, keep your stuff off Epsilon for 24 hours.
Not fun.
Also, Epsilon just wasn't very user-friendly. It had some problems, so let's not dwell on the past. Let's move forward. What we'd like to do, and Megan will be helping out with this a lot, is providing a general introduction to Faculty 180. We want to get faculty into the system to look at your profile information. Everyone's going to have a Faculty 180 page, so to speak. And we want you to begin looking at your page, some of which is pre-populated. And we want you to be adding activities and doing things to it, adjusting it as you see fit. Now, in the fall, we're going to host several sessions that walk people through the performance review process. So that includes chairs and program coordinators, and we'll begin to roll this out with that training. This is a tool to help us with evaluation and ultimately tenure processes. So what does it do? It enables, this is probably it's very clear and elegant. Emily wrote this entire PowerPoint on it. But it enables system-wide reporting on credentials and accomplishments. So it's a one-stop shop where everybody, so every faculty member, full-time and adjunct, are in this system, so we can very easily, a lot of the stuff's on CX or eProcess, but I think we all know the issues with that. And so this is a software system that contains everything. And will be this one-stop shop where we can see, if a regional accreditor says, show me the credentials of faculty in the criminal justice program, we'll have it, we'll rate it. So for state authorizations and renewals, when the trustees say, I want to see what percentage of your faculty have terminal degrees or whatever, we'll be able to do it. It also serves as a tool for leadership. For chairs, PCs, they easily access information about adjunct faculty teaching their programs. Okay. This isn't evaluative in that sense. It won't necessarily go there and be like an instructor insight thing where you can see how the faculty is doing in an evaluative sense, but they'll be able to go and see, oh, this adjunct faculty member has a degree from here and they're qualified to teach these classes, and so on. It automates the workflows for annual performance review, sabbatical, tenure, and promotion. You can put conversion on there. The forms for this won't change. The APR form, the annual performance review form, and the PDP, professional development plan. Those forms won't change because we know they're perfect. They are still this sort of paper-based form that you fill out every year, May 30th now, right? To evaluate yourself, have your chair review that evaluation. So this isn't replacing that right now. It's also not really replacing tenure and promotion of paperwork, as we'll see in just a minute. Okay. Let's go back. So when will Faculty 180 affect you personally? This is important. As the early adopters of this, it's important to get the timelines clear so that you can communicate to your colleagues the timeline. The full-time faculty annual performance review will be effective next year. Okay, May. Didn't they just change that to May 30th? Or is it still May 30th?
Not officially yet.
Not officially, okay. But these APRs that are due to our chairs on May, whatever, that we're still doing the old process where you are going to type it out and hand it to Mark or whatever, or Sylvia, and then they review it and it goes to the dean and back to you. That's not going to change. But we will begin automating that a bit by using that form and putting that form up on Faculty 180 next year at this time. So we have a year, a long runway for this. The adjunct faculty peer review teaching program, I've heard people start calling that the PROT lately. Has anyone heard that? Is that catching on?
I don't know if it's catching on. People are saying it's easier. Prompt instead of peer review.
Kana, how do you feel about that?
It's a little guttural for me, but it's so efficient. So
Right.
Would you say it's pretty good? Jeff Kimmons.
Really need to
Yeah,
say
right.
right.
That's the Kimmons line. Yeah, PROT. It does sound, it's like a German curse word or something. But it is better than, I feel like I can never remember the full.
Yeah.
Anyway, this of course is the peer review teaching program where adjunct faculty are given a stipend to review other their colleagues. And we're capturing we're getting a lot of good formative feedback to our teachers that way. This program is going to be, in effect, the earliest user of it, right? You guys will be using this fall too. For sabbatical, tenure, and promotion, that's fall 2019. Tenure, promotion, and promotion, sabbatical, conversion, that all starts so early. Laura's here from the committee. She can speak to this too. That process starts so early that we couldn't do this in time. So this, sabbatical, if you want to apply for sabbatical in the fall 2019, we'll say, yeah, you have to use this. If you want to apply for tenure, promotion, or conversion to different rank, in 2019 in the fall, we would love it if you would use this. You don't have to. It's like a student coming in on a new catalog. You can always stay with the catalog you came in on. But so if you're already in your process, Kayla just had her pre-tenure review. She may want to stick with Google Drive because she has all her stuff on there. So that's fine. But anyone, in the future, we're hoping that everyone will elect to use Faculty 180. So here's our rollout so far. There was a team convened by the provost in the spring of last year, and then system configuration. I don't know what that means. There was data cleaning and import. So again, this data comes from CX. We feel pretty confident in the data, but proddy confident in the data. But we realize that there may be some mistakes. We introduced the tool to some early explorers in each school, right? Donna's already sat through one of these.
Yeah, it's so cool. I'm hearing that.
That's right. And it's we hope to in the fall to socialize the tool, to host trainings for system administrators and supervisors and faculty. I mean, it is true to some degree that the chairs and PCs are going to probably need to know about it first. Tenure and promotion committee members are going to need to know about it. But really, at some point, all faculty are going to have to know about this pretty well. So we hope to socialize the tool and present guides. Here's early adopters, and I think you guys can be added to this next early adopters presentation team and early explorers by school. I think we might have to adjust this a bit. Terry's can stay on. Okay. Yeah. Before we dive into this, before Megan sort of takes over with a walkthrough, there are going to be, you're actually going to be taken to your page, your Faculty 180 page, and see your stuff. And if it's wrong, I mean that one, close sign.
Everything is right.
Right. But there are some things that will be locked, and you'll say like, that's not my degree, or I didn't go to that university, and I can't change it. Well, that comes populated from CX. We don't want to change it here because then without changing it in CX, because then we have two different systems saying two different things. And so there is a process by which it can be changed. There's this jot form. Okay, so you can fill out a jot form that goes to Megan, and then you just go right to you and you pass it on.
We actually created a Faculty180 email. So it's just Faculty180@park.edu, and that goes to me, and Betty also has an eye on it as well. So anytime that form is updated, you got an EDD versus a PhD, that'll go to that box, and then we'll fix it in CX, so then it'll be correct.
So those locked fields include contact information, rank, degree, teaching, sort of the hard CX data fields, whereas other things, all right. So before we dive in, faculty activities. There's an activity section, and this is where faculty can record accomplishments in teaching, scholarship, and service, where you can upload supporting artifacts. So you can see how this is going to work next year. Like you're still going to have a letter, like a cover letter that says, really, I should get meets expectations in this, or the cover letter being the APR form. I should get these ratings as it, but instead of saying like, see the document, I asked Kathy to scan and upload into, that's how I do it anyway, and into Google Drive under Chapter C, it'll just all be C Faculty180. You won't even have to say that. It'll be in Faculty180, right? So any document that testifies to what you've done will be here. You just upload it to here. And so Faculty180 implementation team took the lead on the departmental standards to inform the wording and categorization activities. What that means is what it says, that we looked at department standards and how they identify, teaching and service and scholarship as separate entities. We use those as the categories. That's the standard. There may be some outliers, and if there are some outliers, your department does things a little differently. Like Caitlin has pointed out, the librarianship is really what the term of art is instead of teaching for her field. There's sort of ways around that. There may be some potential ideological conflicts. Aren't there always? So, for example, where do we put student research, right? This is the Donna clause right here.
Yes, that is the Donna clause. You are correct.
So, yeah, I mean, if your department considers it teaching, but other departments consider it scholarship, both. I mean, these are things that we are hashing out. Serving as a reviewer, that scholarship or service to the discipline. These are things that Faculty180 is asking you to choose between those. Okay, so we're aware of this. This isn't up here to say that we've solved this. It's up here to say, think about if you can think of others. As you're playing with this, do you see other potential ideological conflicts that are coming out of the way we have the system categorized? Okay. Are there any questions about all this?
How do you upload? I'm not asking questions, but I have questions.
Mhm.
I'm just waiting for.
A lot of it probably,
Yes.
will be answered as you do this, because now what Megan's going to walk us through is just the application of this. How do you actually interface with Faculty180? All right.
Yeah. So this is the link. If you have a computer and you want to get onto it, feel free. It's not exactly the most user-friendly for typing. So we do have a link in My Park. It will be on the Active Affairs page.
There it is.
That's right here. Yeah. So if you go into My Park, Resources, Academic Affairs, you can always get to Faculty180 this way. Login is the same as your My Park information, so your ID number, and then your normal park password.
Yeah.
Under Resources, Faculty180. It's the very last one. It's right here. So again, it's your ID number, and then it's your normal part password. And then it'll take you to your main page.
Megan, yeah, it's so sorry, my Faculty 180 access was denied.
Well, we need to have a talk with you, Caitlin.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Is it your username or the number?
It's your ID number. And then once you hit sign in, it takes it a minute. So it's not like an instantaneous login. Yeah, it just takes it a while.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
Yeah. It makes you think maybe it didn't take it, but it does. And if it errors out, you get a big message saying it didn't take it.
On Jack's for I guess. Imagine, I don't know how useful this is gonna be. Yeah. For an academic rank.
Well, slot. See,
That's helpful.
I gotta talk with you too. Jeez, some personal change.
Would it be possible to share the link in the chat for those of us at assistance?
Hi, Amber. Yep, I'm doing that right now.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Megan.
Good ones, yeah. Another one's scheduled now, I guess, for today.
Okay, so let me get rid of some of these. So when you log in, you're going to see your dashboard, your main home page. From here,
Does that horrible sound like Frito eating?
I don't know. Hi, Andy. Brian's gonna stop eating his Fritos. See if that gets better.
No, I'm just gonna go outside.
Brian has been banished. Okay. So it's not Fritos.
Okay. Is Caitlin the only one who hasn't been able to get on?
Is everyone online able to get online
Is anyone not?
or not?
Megan,
Uh-huh.
this is Kathy Jackson. It says I have not been added to Faculty 180.
Okay.
That's the same message that.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
A couple people have gotten that.
And this is where we're still trying to clean up some of the information, especially some of the adjunct information. I'm still working on cleaning up. Sorry. It's very descriptive, Andy. Thank you. Does anyone have a microphone hidden in their armpit?
Good.
This is going to be put on the FCI website, by the way. So apparently, when you start having fun, it's going on the FCI website. But Hageman's coming in now, so I say we just blame him.
There he is.
It's all your fault. It is your fault. Yeah, so is everyone muted? Let's make sure everyone's muted. Check, make sure everyone's muted. Okay. So from here, if there's any action items, so say you have something to review, something to approve, performance review, things like that, that'll all be listed here. Anything that you have to do, due dates, things like that. Oh, good, Kathy. It's just us. And then we also go to your profile. This is where you're really going to want to go, right? So everything about you at Park is here, starting with your personal information. A lot of this will be locked. So this is what's coming over directly from CX. So like nothing for me came over. So if you look me up in CX, I have none of this is there. If you want to edit any of it, you click edit and you see these locked icons. That is what tells you you would need to complete that job form. You can't just go in and edit on your own. Now you can add any languages. So any language you speak, you can add there. But anything else, you would need to complete that form to have changed or maybe add it into CX. So that's really just your personal information. Then you have your contact information. So again, I have nothing. I am like the wrong person to log in.
Right.
But this will actually pull over your campus send her information. So no home addresses or anything. It'll be your actual campus center address. Email address, again, that comes over from CX as your secondary email. So if you wanted to list a Gmail, just do the form. If you have a website that you wanted to list, that is one that you can go in on your own and add. So you want to put your LinkedIn profile, or you have your own blog, anything like that, you can add on your own. Then of course we have department phone, and you can also add in your cell phone if you want.
You do a
You
job.
can, you do the job form. So if you have maybe a Google Voice number for your home office for students, or especially for our adjuncts, they tend to give out their cell phone numbers. This is where they can also list that number. Current position information. This comes over directly from CX. So
Can't change your rank.
no, you can't. That is predefined.
I'm also an adjunct, yeah. We're in trouble as a
How did we pass
This is
accreditation?
because the data
You're
cleanup
really a
comes into
TV
play.
star.
So you guys would see that. You would submit the job form and just say, oh, where you should be adjunct, you should be associate assistant or wherever it is. Same thing for the positions. It'll have your position title, unit, date start, all of that information. And all of that is locked and comes straight from CX. Interests, this is, you guys can do this. This is not locked. This is the first fully unlocked field. Any interest you have in teaching or research, you want to upload something, an attachment, you can do so. And they have various file attachments. So you can also do a URL. Again, maybe you have a blog or something you want to direct people to. And then choosing a file, you can do pretty much any file. I haven't so far found a restricted file. So Kathy, the JOT form link will be posted in my park, and I'm trying to find a way to post it here within Faculty 180. So that way, if you're in the system and you see an error, you don't even have to leave the system to submit the JOT form. So working on that, Kathy. Will it get wiped out before? Okay, so the question is, if you start filling out the forms now, will it get wiped for the full implementation next year? It should not. But again, you know, we're going live in July, so it should be okay. Right, Brian?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
right?
it's saved, right? It's
Yeah.
supposed to be saved in the system.
Okay, so you can go in, you can type in whatever you want. You can leave it blank if you wanted, or you can complete the interest section.
Megan,
Uh-huh.
so with regard to the information being wiped out, I heard two words from the two of you that concerned me, and that is should.
Oh, yeah, no.
And, you know, I mean, so what, is the advice to faculty to wait until it's formally live before,
No, go in and go play around with it.
before
That's-
adding data to it?
Yeah, no, you can go ahead and add data to it.
This is not a beta website. This is the actual
Yeah,
website.
this is live.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's live. It's just, this hasn't the formal rollout yet.
Yeah, we haven't reached the
So
formal
will
rollout
not be
yet.
wiped out,
No,
whatever we
no.
put in.
No, the
You're good.
save button, as long as you hit the save button at the bottom.
Yeah,
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 okay.
and you can list, as you can see, you can save and add another. So you can add multiple items. You don't have to list just one.
Okay.
Or
Thank
try
you
to
for
fit
that
all of them
clarification.
into a little box.
Yes.
If you have any military service you want to list, Amy, correct. You would have to do a JOT form to add a mobile phone. Who has access to this information? So the profile, and please, Brian, if I'm wrong, my understanding is that you can give anyone the link to your profile and they can see it, but it's kind of like LinkedIn. You have to actually give them the URL. It's not like you can search Google and it would pop up. In terms of like the performance review, promotion tenure, those types of documents, that is contained to just those within the chain who would need to review it. So that is not open in terms of those documents.
Megan, can anyone who is not in the chain, well, let's say, is a user notified when someone looks at their profile?
At the profile or at their like performance documentation?
at their profile.
I don't think there's a notification that someone, Lori logged in and looked at Megan's profile at 2:52 p.m. on that day. I don't think that's in there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no tracking like that. Does that answer it?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Penny, did that answer your question? So if you wanted to add any military information, this does not come over from CX. So this is something you would have to add. And again, it's optional. Even if you have a military history, but you don't want to put anything in, you don't have to.
I would add, like, obviously, whether you serve in the military doesn't factor into the formal uses the university makes of this information as a factor into tenure, promotion, or annual review, or any of that. There is a feature of this, as Megan said, you can share this link with others. I mean, I hesitate to say it's a social network, but it's almost a professional network thing. It's dumb of me to refer back to Epsilon, but if you remember, Epsilon had that too. There was this component that was trying to be a professional network, and that's why that information would be relevant. If you wanted to connect with people in academia that also had military backgrounds, you could share this link with someone like that so they could see what your background was. That's why it asks for that kind of information if you want to provide it. That's not going to be factored into any review or anything, obviously.
And it's skills learned in the military. You want to reference that. That can all be listed here, and you can add multiple. So you're not restricted to just one. Degrees. This information does come over from CX. So here you can see my degrees. You can edit to an extent. You click the little pencil icon. You can choose what you have. If it's considered a terminal degree, the discipline, the granting institution, all of that can go in there. You can also add attachments. So you get your doctorate, you want to put up your institution, you want to put up your thesis. You can do that, and people can access it and read it if you want. Because I know some people maybe don't. You can here. You can put up certificates or diplomas, pictures of that if you wanted to. Basically anything you wanted to. Oh,
Professional licensure.
Professional licensure certificates.
oh, degrees. Yeah. So degrees is a lot to feel, like I said, but you can change this information by doing the job form. So I'm sorry, I have admin rights, so it looks like it's but you can't. But yeah, so like if you get in there and you have a BA instead of a BS,
right,
do the job form and let us know. If you have the wrong granting institution or the wrong discipline, that's stuff we need to know, and we can clean that up in CS. Professional licensures and certifications. This is a field that you guys can edit as you want. So if you have anything you want to list, the title, year conferred, you can say you get it in 2020 or 1968. Those are your years. Organization, further details. Again, you can do a URL or a file. So you want to upload a copy of your certificate. Maybe you also want to do a URL to the organization. You can do that as well. Work experience. This is another one that is open for editing. So you can see here, this really doesn't need too much other explanation, but you can put in here almost kind of like what you would have on your Vita. You want to put other institutions you've worked at, adjunct work you've done, consulting work. All of that can be listed here. And again, you have the option to do attachments.
You'll notice there may be a bit of redundancy in things like this because there is a place for your Vita. The expectation is you will also have your Vita up here. And so you might say, well, why would I put in my work experience here if it's in my Vita later? Well, certainly for performance review or something, yeah, you can just say, look at my Vita. This, again, is for the professional networking element of it. It's going to be easier for people to search. If they have a link to your thing, they'll be able to just go to your work experience box instead of looking through your whole resume.
So Amy has a question. Will this take the place of our submission of the CV each year? We simply update Faculty 180.
Yes, I believe so. I don't think the submission of the CV is enforced very widely. Does anyone feel that way? Huh?
We update.
We update it personally, but I mean in terms of like your department saying I need an updated CV.
And scanning it into e-process.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Whenever the administrative assistant says they need.
Yes.
The dean's office says.
Yeah, I don't get the sense that's very regularized. So Amy, it's possible. I don't know.
In nursing, they do it for their surveys. Programs that do the park program review, they have to have copies of their full-time adjunct CV, so that gets updated.
And we'll talk, I think, in a minute about some of the functionality of this once we get past the how to enter your stuff.
Yeah. Amy says she thinks it depends on the college, and I think you'd all agree that's pretty much accurate.
There was another question there, Megan, that was interesting about the capacity. It said, can it handle a 400-page dissertation with images? I wouldn't think so, but.
I actually haven't had a limit yet, but
Can you upload links though?
yes, you can do URLs. So if you have it linked somewhere else, you can always just do the link instead. Yeah. Thanks, Andrea. She promises not to do that to her. Okay. So let's go back to profile. Professional memberships. This is again one that you guys can edit. You don't need to go through the job form. Again, attachments file, a URL, organization name, the year you started, the year you ended, or if it's through the present, if it's currently ongoing, you can keep it as ongoing as well. And then you have your biography. Minimize some of these. So this is basically just a text field, a rich text editor. And you can type in pretty much anything you want. I got my degree here, my interests are this, I have 6 dogs, I'm the crazy cat lady, I like bacon, I like whatever. Like, you can put anything in the biography. I don't know if there's a character limit, at least I haven't seen one. So you should be okay on that. You can also copy from Word. So if you have a standard biography, maybe you put in your syllabi, you can just copy it from there and paste it.
So when is this gonna go live? Because I keep updating things to mine and it's not showing up.
Like you're saving it and it's not in there.
You refresh your browser. What browser are you using?
Like I just updated school, like I just updated the risk information for my publications, but then it said, yep, and then you click over it again and it's gone.
Has anyone else uploaded anything yet?
Yeah,
I got a checking. Well, it should stay.
it
Should stay.
Okay.
Mine stays.
Okay.
Because you're an adjunct.
Yeah, that's it.
It's 'cause I'm an admin.
Yeah, Dimitri's uploaded in its work, so I'll check your
Support.
here in a minute. So that's the profile. I do want to back up 1 minute. The reason I asked what browser he's using, because I have had issues with Edge. So if you have Edge on your browser, I would suggest not using it. Chrome seems to work the best. I'll check and see, maybe that's a Firefox compatibility issue or a different issue. Since Edge isn't fully supported, I wouldn't try Internet Explorer either. So just little tips that I found. Edge definitely does not work. So you've been through your profile, you've looked at it, then you can click activities. And this is where we get to a lot of the really juicy stuff. Your teaching record, your accomplishments, your advising, all of your service, all of that is within here. So your teaching record at Park, there won't be a lot for me. If you change this, we'll say fall.
This is pretty cool. If someone's taught for a long time, it's going to show the courses you've taught. I remember for my tenure, I had to go back into the archives of the internet and try to find all the classes I taught here.
Yeah.
And this just hasn't populated.
With the enrollments.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
enrollments. Really. Yeah. So it shows how many students you taught since you've been a pro.
With the year you
You
started.
don't even have to do that. It just, it's already populated.
And then you also have your teaching accomplishments. So this is a field that you edit. You click add. So you can select the term, the year. It only goes back to 1968. So some of you might have to limit what you did. But it'll capture a lot. And then you can select the type. Additional forms of instruction. Is it assessment? Is it course or program development? Are you doing innovative approaches, or are there some other aspect you want to capture here for your teaching accomplishments? And then you can do a description. Again, if you want to copy it from Word and you already have it typed up, just copy and paste it.
So, Megan, can you go to select type again?
Sure.
So this is what I was talking about before, with the categories that are taken from department standards. We tried to capture all the elements that are mentioned, under things like innovation, course program development and assessment improvement and things like that. There may be things that you can think of theoretically, like, oh, I would put something like this under there, but it's not one of the drop-down options. There is an other category for that. But we hope that the bulk of it is already represented. It doesn't have to use the other.
And then again, you have the ability to add attachments, either a file or a URL. So maybe if something's posted somewhere publicly, you want to direct them to, you can. And then you can save and add another. So it's not just one thing. You don't have to try to cramp everything into one text box or to one field. You can keep adding additional ones as needed. I love that you get this pop-up box, so you are prompted every time to save. Okay. So then you go to your student advising. Click add. Again, much like the other fields, select the term, select the year, and you're going to select the type. Academic, club, honor society, supervision of student research and creative work, or other, if it's another option. So you do that, type that in, and then you have your description here, and you can add attachments as needed. So after advising, that's when you get to your scholarship. And you can see as you start adding scholarship, you do have a search function. So if you're going through all your hard copies, did I already add this? I can't, just doing a quick skim, I can't see it. You can search for it. Make it populate the current number of advisees.
I mean, I feel like we don't have a handle on that in any system. So, right? I mean, we have.
It depends on who you ask.
It depends on who you ask, and so it'd be hard to know where we would take that from.
Yeah. I know it lists advisees in my park, but I think you did have that discussion during one of the meetings about that, and we kind of decided,
Yeah.
because we're not sure
Well,
where to get it.
what I think the discussion was is there's elsewhere in the university, they're currently working on how to deal with advisees and try to make it more functional. And
Oh.
so until that is resolved or determined by that group of folks, it doesn't make sense for us to go out of our way to try and update it here.
How far back does that go on populating classes?
On the classes teaching record?
Is it 2012
I think so.
to when?
2012.
To now.
12, so 6 years.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, 1968 is listed here, but I don't think
Yeah, the records,
it didn't pull up that much.
I went back.
So
So,
even if you were to select 1968, it wouldn't pull it up.
so it's not going to say everything I've taught since 1985.
Right.
Okay.
Because when we were originally pulling this, I mean, it was pulling stuff from the 1970s and earlier, and we're like, I don't know that we really need to go back quite so far. But I mean, there's other areas where you can list like those courses. So scholarly contributions to creative productions. You click add. So you can
Actually, it goes
import.
back- It goes back to spring 2005.
Oh, great.
That's fine.
I don't think it's back to 2008.
So it shouldn't. I think we did 10 years what we decided, so not
No,
sure.
maybe that's 5.
I switched to a 4 and it
All right.
So you can import if you either generic RIS or bid text, or you do a manual import. So you can select, are you uploading information about a book, a chapter, creative performance, grants, journals, posters, maybe you did some editorial work, all of that would be listed here.
And notice this grant submitted, we want to make sure that people get credit whether or not the grant is actually funded.
Yeah.
And we figured that submitted is inclusive of funded.
Yeah, so if I click,
Funded would be, yeah.
yeah, that's the point. So if I click
I
grant
like that
submitted,
because it also, I mean, I think it's so key to remember, this leaves room for nuance in a narrative. You're still writing narratives that make use of this information. You know, if you submit a grant, you might say in your narrative, like, that's evidence that I'm meeting expectations of scholarship. If you got that grant accepted, you might say that's evidence of exceeding expectations. So you still, this isn't a system that has you check boxes for whether you exceeded or meets. It's just a repository, really. And your letter or your APR document, your narrative is still there to make the case.
so Amy had a question about the teaching record will also show independent study. It'll show anything in CX. So as long as it's in CX, it gets pulled. So I did the scholarly contributions. I did a grant submitted, just so you can see what it looks like. So status, in progress, submitted, revised, resubmitted, accepted, anything like that. For of the term, and then again, you select the year, date, funding agency, title, amount requested. You can add co-contributors. So click add, type in their name, and it'll mark right here, faculty at your institution. So if it's someone not within your institution, obviously that would not be checked. But you can select faculty institution, or you can add. So maybe it's a colleague at another institution or a professional organization, you can add those in. Include the URL and output citation, include the description, and then you can type up your description right here. Citation preview, so you can see it has all these pre-selected. So there's the ACS, there's APA, Chicago, MLA, all of that's in here. You can add an activity classification, blind, non-blind, internal, external, and then you can always, again, add that attachment. You want to add the URL to the organization you request money from, and hey, here's an actual copy of our application. So there's a lot of different options within here. Pull up another one. So again, we'll do reviews, editorial work. Again, same information before, status, the location, the publisher. Again, you can add additional co-authors. A lot of this is going to be the same. So you do have capture a lot of that information. So then you get to your departmental service. Click add. Again, you're just select the term and the year. You're going to add a summary, and then you can attach a file or again direct it to a URL. And again, you can add as many as you need. PC work, chair work, anything like that, committee work. Institutional service is much the same. So this will list committees. You select your term, if it's ongoing or if it has concluded, and then you can select your committee. So we pre-populated, I believe, all of them. So assessment committee, college assessment committees, SCI's advisory committee, Senate, Faculty Federation, which needs to be alphabetized more. The Faculty Federation's in there, post-tenure review, all of that's in here. So you can just select it. If it's not listed, click other, and then you can type in what it is right here. So if for whatever reason a university committee is not already listed, you can add it.
I see
What's that?
the LA subcommittees.
Okay, shoot me an email. Okay, so we'll add the LE subcommittee. And then your responsibility. Are you a member, are you a chair, or are you other? So for me, I'm an ex officio of the assessment committee. I would click other, and then it would be listed there. If you're chair or member, so choose that. Again, if you have any attachments you want to link to, you guys have a public page or college lesson committee has a Facebook page or whatever, you can list that there. What's that?
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so the question that Amy has is, will the service section save from year to year? Yes, it will save unless you delete it. So it will always be there, so you just have to update each year. And then just remember, as you cycle off committees, add those end dates when you cycled off. So then you get to disciplinary and professional service. Again, you can see it's going to have a lot of the same information as the committees. So term, activity classifications, is it a local, state, regional, national, international, term, organization, all of that stuff. So a lot of these are going to have some of the same fields. Same thing for community service. Community service is basically identical to disciplinary professional service. Program leadership. Again, you're going to select your term, your title, program coordinator, area coordinator, chair, program director, and a description. So this right here where it says unit, I'm an admin of the system, so I'm at the highest level. But like for Amy, it would say English. For Donna, it would say chemistry. So that should be reflective of your actual unit. If it's not, let us know. And that means we have to fix it in CS.
And this is a place where the Faculty 180 is a little bit ahead of our annual program review. There's not a real good way in the program review form to talk about program leadership, or we're hopefully add something like that so it'll match Faculty 180 better.
So, going backwards a little bit, but department service, there's not an end date on those. So, like if you wanted to put in you were department chair from 2012 to 2000, whenever the hell ended, how would you do that?
Put that in the short summary. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it just says term is effective in the year.
Okay.
So I put the year it started, and then in the short summary, that's where I would describe effective AY left AY. Okay. So then you also have professional development. So any sessions you attend, conferences, anything like that, if you get community credit hours, you have the category. So maybe you're attending something that's for research oriented. And again, you can add attachments. And you can add as many as you want. So this is, again, something that will build up over time. Any honors you've received, Doris Howell Award, anything like that, can be listed here. And then I want to get to this piece. So this is your curriculum vita piece. Add here. So term that this CD is current for. So maybe it's for, you're doing it for spring 2018. Any notes or comments, and then you can actually link to it. You can add a file. You can just upload it. And that can all go in here. So it's not like you're retyping it. You don't have to redo your CD if you already have it done. You can just link to it or upload it. However.
You might want to, but we'll do
Yeah.
that when we get to forms and reports.
You're choosing a file
Yeah.
also, right?
Yeah.
Megan, we have a question in the chat. We have a question in the chat from Amy. I was just letting you know.
Oh,
Little service section. Oh, I think she answered.
yeah, I got that.
Oh, okay.
Evaluations is where all the performance review pieces will be. So this is still being built. So as it's built, it'll populate here. But like for adjuncts fall 2, so that's when they will start using it. And you'll be able to view all. So obviously this will be blank. But these were, as you say, it says evaluations of need. So as I start getting evaluations, start still teaching, they would be listed here. And then you can go in, you can click them, and you can view them. If you are program leadership and you actually are the one that needs to perform an evaluation, that would be listed here at the bottom. Forms and reports.
Can you
the evaluations piece.
Yeah.
So as like a chair, if you had performance review that you needed to do an evaluation, it would list them at this bottom section right here under perform evaluations.
Or let's say, the adjuncts have been peer reviewed, we've uploaded that information, the program coordinators, I'm guessing it would get some notice there, that that information is there for your review.
And it would also be on their dashboard, is my understanding. So if Dana reviews me, say I'm still teaching communications, if Dana reviews me as the adjunct, it would be there for her, and then it would go to Mark as chair to say, hey, you need to do this, and it should be on that screen, but also on their main dashboard when they log in. So it'll say you have these to-do items, kind of like what Canvas does, like for assignments. It'll be something similar to that, only
You know it's waiting.
I saw a question pop up. Okay, so Eugene was wondering what to do when you need to update CX, the data from CX. So there's a job form. We don't have the link published yet, but when we do, it's anything that will look like this. So anything that is locked, and I list everything out, so that way, you know, I don't want you trying to start submitting a form and you get halfway through and you're like, oh, I don't need to do this form after all. That was a waste of time. And then we also list our email. So you can always email us too with any questions. But you basically go through and say, what do you want to update? Profile information. And it'll have all of your profile information here that you can update. So once that form is live and this system is fully live, that'll be published. I'm going to try to get it onto the dashboard here within Faculty 180. I'll also try to get it into my park as well. Okay. So obviously there's not a lot here yet because we haven't been doing much yet with it. But as you are doing things, your input forms, your performance reviews, things like that, that will all be listed here. So it'll show everything that you've been doing, all your forms, some reports that you can run. And then you get back to your Vitas. Other systems, what do you mean by other systems, Amy? Do you think process?
I think like if Jack submits a form and say I'm not an adjunct,
Yeah.
that then get fixed in whatever that was originally wrong in.
Yeah, so it would have been wrong in CX. And that's something I'll just say this. We found quite a few full-time faculty that somehow got marked as adjuncts over the summer. I don't know how that happened. So that's something that we've been fixing as we found it.
So Megan, is that, so will I need to do something similar then just to get added or get access, or?
I'm gonna look in here on the back end and see if you're in there. I saw you in there, but I'll look at it to make sure. So you have your CV and you want to view it. You just put the little eye icon. What are you running? Are you running a performance review? Honestly, full time. I'm not full time. I'm an inactive adjunct according to CX, so I'm limited. But evaluations are your standard CV. You can run it custom. So anything that you add to this system, you add scholarly work, you add research, you add grants requested, that will all populate into here. So that's where those terms become helpful and why they're required. So anything that you put in here as effective from spring 2011 to spring 2018, it'll pull onto this report, onto this CV.
Yeah.
And then
This is a Faculty 180 created CV.
yes, it's not.
But it's nice because it's in a standardized format.
Yes.
You don't have to keep the massive Word document that you keep going in and hoping you've added things in the right place and hoping nothing gets corrupted. You add an individual entry of something you've done, and then you can export it into a central CV, which is really handy too, especially when, let's say we're writing a report or a grant or something, and we need to go pull some CVs from 3 of our faculty members. Instead of chasing them down individually, we can go into the system, pull it, attach it to the grant, get it submitted.
Yeah, and so like when you change your term dates, you just click refresh PDF, and it'll refresh it here. And so if I had stuff, it would start listing it here. And then you can export it Word or PDF, or you can share a web link to it. So maybe that's something you wanted to post online to the new website. You have that web link option.
Megan, as I'm thinking about this, back under evaluations, would it be possible to for it to automatically populate your student evaluations?
The course evaluations?
Yeah.
No, that would be integrating a different system with Faculty180. I don't know if they have that capability. So
Okay.
course evaluations are in Campus Labs. So it's trying to find out if they have that integration piece. Probably not, unfortunately.
Okay.
I know, it's one more system, right?
Yeah. All right. Just wondering.
Yeah. So all that's there. That's pretty much it. You can find your colleagues if you wanted. We were talking about what is visible to people. So find your colleague if you want. Are there any questions? I feel like I went through that really, really fast.
So I have a question on the activities. Okay, so you upload all your information, all the teaching accomplishments and service and so forth, and then and your CV, and then you go to the visas and plot sketches, and magically will appear all.
Yeah. Yeah. So
to make sure that that was what I understood.
Yep. So if you click this little icon right here, it's an eye. Then you can go through here. You can select, you can do all if you want absolutely everything, or you can do custom. I only need this piece of information. And then what you do, so let's change this to 5. So watch right down here. So that changed it to spring of 05. So then it would pull up anything that I said within my activities that I have done spring 2005 through spring 2018. It'll pull it and it'll list it. And then you can export it as a Word, PDF, whatever you want to do. You can print directly from here.
It populates all your courses into your CV.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do, I mean, do we really need every course I've taught at Park University in my CV? No, I mean, like every course, every section of the same one.
Customize the CV to be
Every
able to
semester?
insert seconds.
Yeah, that's good.
I was thinking
yeah.
also like of the CEs people might earn, they may not want to put every
But
CE
yeah,
thing
that's what it should
in their
be.
Vita.
Every what?
Like continuing ed.
Oh, I didn't hear.
Yeah, no, professional,
Yeah,
you know what I
the
mean?
professional
Like
development.
every webinar you attended, you
Yeah.
put it in there.
Yeah, you don't want that to come up.
So I
Right.
wonder, is there a way, I don't,
I haven't found a way to really fully do that.
to customize anything other than dates? We may have to look into that.
Yeah, that's something to look into.
Yeah, you're
Too
right.
much information is
Yeah.
a better problem than not.
Yes, I
enough.
agree.
It is, but it would be nice, like, if you could tailor it just for your performance review. You know, there's some things you just don't need on there. And I think the chairs are gonna be using the CV part a lot.
Well, there's another one for performance review, right? That's different.
Another compilation.
It's, when you click on that, right, videos and
Sketches.
sketches, it'll just show your, you know,
Oh,
click on
yeah,
it,
there it is. Okay,
and it just brings up this year.
right, okay, never mind that.
So we had a couple questions online. Those. All faculty, including adjuncts, will be asked to do this. I'm assuming by doing this using Faculty180. Yes, so adjuncts fall 2 will need to have their stuff in here. And
Well, the peer review
Piece.
participants fall to, I don't know what sort of timeline might look for all adjuncts. You know,
The ones
that's,
selected.
Yeah, that's a bit
that's
much.
a later conversation.
Yeah.
But the ones involved in the peer review.
new piece, we'll be using it fall 2. Recommend use this system this year if I put all the data retroactively.
No, I mean, we just can't. We can't have 2 systems this year where I know it's tempting. Like I saw this and thought it'd be nice to do it right now, and then I wouldn't have to go through the stupid process of scanning everything. But we just not equipped to look at it that way. Not all chairs know how to do this yet, and so no. For for this year, everyone has to do APR the way we've done it in the past.
And I just wanted to go back to the homepage real quick. So there's the question of how do we know if there's something we need to do or review or anything like that. And this is where you can see we have action items. So any item that's assigned to you. So if Mark is assigned to review me, when you log in, the first thing you're going to see is that.
Oh,
Go ahead.
to your point though, can't you use the system to generate your CV to then give in that format? I mean, you should be able to use the benefits of this to produce a document to turn
You
into.
could use it as a tool. It's live and you're on there,
Yes.
but you
As a
still
tool.
have to put your stuff on Google Drive and have to do the APR.
But
Yeah, you
Use
can
it
you
however
could
you want.
start,
You can
it-
start.
you could start doing it now in preparation for next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Start using it, yeah.
Or for your promotion or tenure next year.
Megan, what does it look, so when my chair next year reviews me, what is, or I'm looking at one of my adjuncts, can I see, what does the view look like there? Can we,
Oh, as the
can we take a look
reviewer?
at that today? Just to know what to expect? Is it,
Yeah, I don't think that's in there yet. We're
Okay.
still fleshing that out.
All right.
But that's where we're gonna have, what was it, in fall of the summer, fall 19, we're gonna use the summer, we're gonna have all those training sessions.
okay, separate training?
So,
Cool.
yeah, so we'll have separate trainings to get you in there.
Yeah.
More likely it'll be hands-on, so you can actually play with it and see what it looks like.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
It's, Amber may know, but I thought there was a something on this in the fall faculty orientation as well.
Amber, do you know if they're doing anything fall faculty conference over Faculty 180?
I believe they're supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what I
Um,
thought, yeah.
I think since that's when it's going to be launched, it's my understanding that there will be some training then too. Or that's my understanding.
Yeah, and then, where are the dates? So, yeah, so training for academic supervisors and faculty will be next fall.
Yeah.
Is when we'll start doing that, so bring that up. Yeah.
But again,
So-
these early explorers, you guys are definitely encouraged to talk to faculty about this and walk them through it informally. I think that's going to be really useful to have a group of people that are comfortable with it early. Has anyone identified, I mean, I know there's a lot of technical aspects, and some of it's just going to be playing with it, right? You just go and you play with it, just like anything else. But does anyone see any concerns that are not technical? Any of those ideological concerns we mentioned, or I don't know, privacy concerns have already kind of been raised, but does anyone have any thoughts about just the concept?
I'm saying, thank God, because I mean, this, there are people that have been denied tenure in the past, that this would have helped them
Yeah,
get tenure.
yeah, they would have had.
That's what I really like about it, having been on the tenure promotion committee before. This makes everything, I got in trouble for saying the same the other day, and I don't want to say that everybody's are the same, but it's all uniform and formatted the same way, and so it's going to make the work of the committee members, to me, much more streamlined, because you don't have to, all right, did I get access to this person's Google Drive, and where in their folder is this, and
Absolutely. Tenure and
everybody's
promotion
organized the
processes
same way.
are going to be much better. Yep, absolutely.
But they won't be, they'll still be departmental standards. I got in trouble
Oh, yeah.
for saying that things would be all the same.
Oh, no, it's the department.
No, that's not what I meant.
Well, this makes it easier. I mean, so I'm on tenure promotion committee. What we have done in the past is try to sort of like read everyone's department standards before we evaluated a document. That's not our charge. Our charge is to look at what the chair and the department say about whether that faculty member has met their department standards. I'm not gonna, even if I read the chemistry department standards, I'm not really gonna be able to apply those very well. So this allows the tenure promotion committee to be much more direct in doing that.
And there's also some things that people may not always remember to put on their CV, such as, student advising a club. Maybe that club only went one semester and students failed. Hopefully that's not the case, but if it is, you still want to get your faculty get recognized for that service they did during that time. Or whatever your department, wherever they feel it falls.
Yeah.
in terms
What
of-
I like is, like Brian was saying, you don't have to wait until the end of the year to scan all of your documents or have 15,000 documents in your Google Drive. So as something happens, you upload it.
Ideally,
So
as
you
you
don't
hear back on a
forget.
manuscript, as you submit
So
a
that-
thing, you could just,
So May, whatever, rolls around and I'm not freaking out at the end of the semester trying to rebuild my year. I like that. Because we all know I'm gonna wait until the day before it's due anyway, right?
well, and again,
Right.
I've been in institutions that have used a similar platform, and on the other end of it, if you're on more the administrative type and you need to pull CVs for your adjuncts or things like that, this will make that part of it really nicer too. So it works on both the user and the administrator side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other
Any other questions or thoughts about this? Something online?
If
So
faculty
here-
want, can they talk to chairs about going ahead and using Faculty 180 this year?
So, Amy, what we're saying is, I mean, feel free to play with it, but no, we can't use this in the formal APR processes. For this academic year, we have to go through the old system of Google Drive and the APR form. Next year is when everyone is going to use this. I know, but we just can't train everybody in time. There's going to be chairs that don't know how to use it. In fact, they don't know how to use it. So,
And adjuncts.
and adjunct, oh yeah. So, anyway, sorry.
There will be time. We have not worked it all out yet. Good question.
Yeah, I did have a question. I'm not planning on this, and I hope no one is planning on this because I like working with everyone. But Interfolio is used by a lot of institutions as their application thing, and this is an Interfolio product. If I'm applying for a job at some other institution using Interfolio, is there a way? Do we know if this is linked in any way, and my, legal chair can find out that I'm applying for a getting so yeah, I could if there is interplay, I could see that being being
So,
risky.
when Rockers comes and recruits Glenn,
Right.
and they say, can you just, instead of mailing us everything, can we just have your Interfolio password or link or whatever,
Right.
or you do it through that system? Does Sylvia then say, oh, interesting, a connection here between the two?
Right, exactly.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Or think of it, let's say we had someone from one of our peers, someone from Dartmouth wants to come join our park family.
Right, yeah.
We might,
Share a link, but does the supervisor know about that?
oh,
That's
I
the problem.
wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so.
I mean, it doesn't show when someone looks at your profile, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't think it would show.
Yeah, that's hard to say, but we should check. I mean, that's a legitimate concern in some things.
We had a question on chat. So if we add something manually, then there's update by CX, will it be overwritten? So that's where the job form comes in handy. So anything that we pull from CX, if it's wrong degree, wrong faculty title, wrong rank, whatever, we will update it in CX, which means then it will be correct. Anything that you manually add, like your research interests, that's not coming
It's
from
not in
CX.
CX, so, yeah.
So it'll only be overwritten if you overwrite it.
Right.
Does that help, Eugene?
All right.
Yeah, we want to make sure everything in CX is accurate, so that way that issue doesn't happen. That's why it's important to use that job form or reach out to faculty180@park.edu, and we can send you the link too.
Any other questions about this beautiful new product?
How much did it cost?
Not as much as our DEA. Somewhere between 20,000 and 2 million. There you go.
Thank you for telling me.
Yeah, of all the software
Is it
that we buy,
inside
right, this is the
Sorry.
one that's gonna have the most impact on faculty, I think. So,
Is it gonna expire, like Epsilon,
Well,
like
the
some of
software
that kind of
subscription.
stuff, worrying about?
It'll-
It will not go
it will not
bankrupt.
go bankrupt. I mean, if it does, we'll have more notice than we did. Yes.
Don't even say that. It will not go bankrupt.
They're too big to fail.
Somebody has
All
a
right.
question.
Yep, got one online. Can we connect Alexa?
I've got a week without hearing that word, and finally ruined it. I don't
I'm
know.
not answering that question.
I don't think anyone knows about the Alexa capability. Try it. We'll look into it.
Brian's gonna look into that for you, Dimitri.
I'll be your Alexa point person on this. But no, I mean, obviously that question's being asked with most of the software we buy, so yeah,
Yeah.
we'll look into it.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you everybody for coming and learning about this tool, and we hope it's useful to you. And if you have any questions, direct them to Megan or me, mostly Megan. Dana also knows a lot about it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Brian and Megan.
All right,
That was
thank
really
you.
helpful.
Bye, guys, online.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, guys.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you very much.
Other instructors should be for the review of documentation.
Thank you. Redo the Italian Film Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. So many levels. It was
Good, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, good. Not that much. No, I just see it.
No, because I'm waiting on particular wording from John and Deb on what I'm supposed to say. All they can tell, I mean, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
say this much, everything that has been voted on is completely null and void. Okay, and I had. It
Just the
will
way
be
I like it.
significant time before it is It will not be anytime Monday or Tuesday. It may be as much as a week. No, do not vote. Do not vote. You'll have to vote again.
Yeah.
I work on my French. I assume you offer French?
Yeah.
Online, I assume.
We do
Yeah.
We have French 1 and French 2.
Well, rather than pay for Rosetta Stone
Oh, yeah.
just use those courses. So like, I
Yes.
guess you're gonna have to roll.
Have you taken French before?
He is.
I mean, the French one's pretty basic.
I took core French when I was a teenager and then
You grew up in
fell
Canada,
into
don't you
problems.
know it?
Yeah. Yeah, cereal box
Is that
French.
right?